Deadwax.
Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee.
What's up, all you succulents, and welcome to the Deadwax Show with Waffles and the Stooge. Get out of the groove and get yourself into the Deadwax. I am Waffles, and as always, I'm joined by my best friend and older brother, Stooge. And then today we also have a very special guest with us, Ray. Ray, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I've been dying to hear you say those words live.
Yes. We're
long time listener, first time caller. You know.
Ray is our buddy here in Utah, and he is also one of the members of the Film Monsters podcast, which is like our cousin podcast because we're friends, and so it's like our cousin podcast, right? Or like stepbrother. I don't know.
Like kissing cousins.
Like kissing cousins, exactly.
Oh yeah, lots of kissing always.
Stooge, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Just surviving another cold, wintry day in Utah.
Yeah, man, weather's been horrible.
Always exciting.
It's awful.
It won't go away too. I feel like winter started so early this year, and it's just awful, and we're months into it, and I'm just depressed. But whatever.
Yeah.
And then the sucky thing is, we spend all summer be like, "Oh, when we need the water,
I know
we need the water."
And it's
I was
so
like,
hot.
"Stop it!"
Yeah.
Man, I am from California, and even I'm like, we don't need the water. We don't need the snow. I don't want this.
Oh my gosh.
But I guess it could be worse. We could be in California just getting completely dumped on. So,
No.
Anyways,
It could always be worse.
Yeah,
That's our way to look at life.
Yeah. Yep. Lower your expectations.
Lower your expectations. So, Ray, will you introduce yourself to the people? Tell us a little about your podcast as well.
Yeah. So my name is Ray. Some of you know me from my personal handle, which is Analog C, but I also go by the Film Monsters podcast, which is a podcast my buddy Nate and I started, where it's kind of like what you guys do, except with movies, where we just talk about movies and make idiots out of ourselves, and we love it.
Nice.
And I too
that is our formula. Exactly.
I too live in Utah, a little south from you too, but I'm out here in Utah. I'm from California as well, Stooge. So,
nice.
You know, we were probably next door.
We're in California,
Riverside, so a little south from you.
Yeah, you're about 4 hours south of me, but
just a little.
You're closer to the beach.
Yeah, a lot closer to the beach. And yeah, so my buddy and I started our podcast. It's going to be a year in May, so not quite a year, not quite as old as you two. But you two were an inspiration for us to start it. Actually, we're like, you know what?
Oh,
if my buddies can talk about music, why can't I geek out about movies? Damn it!
If they can do it, you know.
If these idiots, if these monkeys with cameras can figure it out, anybody can.
Now I sound like a jackass.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I love it.
Did I miss the hat memo?
No.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. We don't have glorious hair like you.
Yeah. Yeah, you have great hair, so it makes sense. No, Ray is a very good buddy of ours. We're very glad to have him on today.
Yes.
Speaking of Ray, let's talk about some records we picked up this week.
Ooh.
Will you start us off, Ray? Because you told us you got some goodies.
I got some goodies. I had a bunch of stuff, and I had to kind of narrow it down, so we're not here all day.
Great.
I'm going to start with this guy. It's Tantrums by Hidden in Plain View.
Ooh.
They're kind of like an emo rock band from the early 2000s. One of those like reunion bands. But check out this pretty little thing.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Yeah.
For those listening, it's like what do you even call that? Like a
pinwheel?
Tricolor pinwheel? Yeah,
pinwheel
white
is
and red.
what they were going with. So I got that one. It's like I said, they're like an emo rock band from like that early 2000s. Stooge, you might be familiar with this dude because he's Ace Anders. He's the lead singer of The Early November, and he has
a side project.
Ooh.
This is his solo album.
Okay.
It's just a bunch of acoustic stuff. I actually found it at Graywell.
Nice.
So shout out to Graywell because
shout out Graywell. We love you.
That one sold out a long time ago, so I was really excited to find a copy for actually really cheap. The other one, this band is called Spitfire.
Spitfire.
They are
Spitfire.
like one of those like noisy metalcore bands from like the early 2000s, and they repressed their album. And look at this thing.
Oh wow,
Oh, that's cool.
That is so sick.
Looks like someone spit a thing of blood onto that record.
Like
Spit a
someone
fire
spat
on it.
fire.
Spit some blood fire.
Some fire blood.
So I was able to score that this week. So shout out to our buddy Ryan, who loves Angels and Airwaves.
Heck yeah.
I was able to pick this up from Graywell as well, and thus completing my Angels and Airwaves collection.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. You are a completist for your collection. You love
Is that the Tom DeLonge side project?
Yeah, and it comes in this cool little purple.
Oh wow, that's sick.
So yeah, that's the Tom DeLonge.
I could see your reflection in that record.
I saw that. Spoopy.
I'm probably gonna get
the soul of the Waffles is trapped in that record. Oh my gosh, movie idea! Someone's soul gets trapped in a record, and the way it's like a genie in the lamp. The way to release them is to spin the record.
I love
it.
Copyrighted.
Hold on, fun story. There's actually. Are you guys familiar with Shudder?
Oh, like the channel.
Yeah, Shudder channel. It's like a Netflix, but all horror stuff.
I have Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
So Shudder has a show called Deadwax.
Oh yes,
they
ripped us off.
It's about a record that when you listen to it, it kills you.
Someone said the same about the new Lana Del Rey, so that's crazy.
The next pickup I got. This is a Grail that I finally got.
Ooh, okay.
It's the Juliana Theory Love.
Oh, you love Juliana Theory.
Smart Punk Records put them out, just like leftover copies that they had, which those usually go for like $70, $80 in Discogs, but I got it for like $25.
Wow, nice.
Yeah,
that's a good deal.
Seriously.
That's always the best, isn't it? When you can find like a record you really want that's like stupid expensive on Discogs, and then you find it locally for like half the price.
Normal
it's like,
price.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It makes it even sweeter. Yeah,
absolutely great feeling.
I got three more. The next one is this. This is a record that I never thought would be put on vinyl, and the fine gentleman that on original vinyl finally put out. And this, the band's called Terminal.
Oh yes, I know lots of people that are excited for that one.
Terminal is another like emo rock band. Fun fact about Terminal: the lead singer of Terminal was supposed to be the singer for Under Oath.
Oh, okay.
And he turned it down because he himself even thought that Spencer Chamberlain was a better fit than he was.
Well, there you go.
Oh, but
I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, and then some of the members of Terminal went on to form a little band called Oh Sleeper.
Oh
man,
Sleeper.
Oh wow, that's funny. That's pretty.
That is clear with some foggy red and some black splatter on it.
And then the next two.
For those without the privilege of video. No.
And then I have two soundtracks to end my hauls with.
Ooh, speaking of which.
I know. So I got Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Is that cool splatter one? Oh, yeah, it is. I'll see you.
Shout out to Waxwork because I was able to get 10% off because I'm a subscriber. Yes.
Yeah.
I wear that with a badge of honor.
Pushing the Waxwork.
Pushing the Waxwork.
I posted this earlier, but I'm really excited to finally have the Rings of Power on vinyl.
Oh, nice.
I saw that.
I posted this earlier.
Those are gold, right?
Yeah. It's like a
the
nice
gold foil looking.
Yeah, like liquidy gold.
Love it.
Yeah, those are cool.
So those are my main pickups for this week.
Nice. I still need to watch Rings of Power. I haven't watched it yet.
I loved it. It's
you haven't watched it?
I know, the nerve. I just keep watching YouTube.
How dare you? I'm out of here.
We've had people leave over much less. It would be fine. Stooge, are you for sure you don't want to show anything?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Let's go with yours and we're good.
Sounds good. I got three as well, and mine all came from Graywell as well. So look at this.
We're just look at this. Plug in the Graywell.
We can, exactly.
We like to plug Graywell.
First one is Capture the Flag by War on Women. One of my favorite feminist bands. It comes on this really pretty blue. Great record though. It was in the used section, but it was still sealed and only for like cheaper than retail. So
nice.
really fun find.
Graywell coming in with the deals this
Graywell
week.
coming in with the deals, bro.
Shauna from War on Women did a awesome feature on Jim Ward's record, the guy from Sparta.
Yes.
She did a great feature on one of his songs. It's amazing.
Absolutely the bomb. Great live band too. Next is Trumpeting Ecstasy by Full of Hell.
Oh yeah.
I've just been meaning to get this one for a long time.
That is a fiery nun.
Right. You can't really see this variant too well in the like light and everything. Gosh dang it. But
why don't you take it out? Take it out.
Is it going to change how we look at things?
Show us your 12 inches.
It's a gray and blue smash, but there's like this really cool, try to get as close to the camera, like an ash into the record itself.
Ooh.
So it gives this gray ash feel. It's really cool. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of Full of Hell. I just randomly have never gotten this record before. And this is a really pretty pressing. So benefited everyone involved.
I love it when you show us your 12 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Pull it out.
Both of you. And then this last one is by a band I got turned on to by my buddies Ryan and Nick. So if they happen to hear this, shout out. Thanks, Ryan and Nick. This is the band Blacklisted. And this album is Heavier Than Heaven, Lonelier Than God. And just white. Do you guys like white variants? I feel like Stu just said he hates them.
Yeah.
I'm very much, for me, it really depends on the album artwork.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what they said in my thing too. As long as it fits a theme, that's cool. But otherwise, it's just like kind of one of the more boring.
I agree. Sometimes I'll get a white record and just think like, you could have done anything else. There's no other options. Anyway, really great like emo violence hardcore band, Blacklisted. So there you go. And same thing, very well. And they're Lonelier Than God. Cool. And it was really cool because I was just at a work event right next to the Graywell, and then I was like, I'll stop in and see if there's anything, and then walked away with 3 records. So good finds.
You want to hear something funny?
Absolutely.
Out of all of those albums both of you just shared, the only one I know of is Angels and Airwaves.
Heck yeah.
But I couldn't name you a song.
To be perfectly fair, though, that's a great Angels and Airwaves record. So if there's anyone you should know, go for it. That's a great one. Anyway, I don't expect you to know Blacklisted.
I mean, I guess I knew the soundtracks. I've seen Edward Scissorhands. I haven't seen that Rings one, though. The Power Ship of the Rings or whatever it's called.
The Power Ship of the Rings. The power source of the rings. Exactly.
The power ship of the rings.
The power ship of the rings.
Put the ring on your finger.
You want to know what's something I'm really excited about, though?
What's up?
I'm gonna bring her out. I'm really excited for this tonight.
Oh, The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, I'm excited too.
We were talking about that before you joined us. Me too.
I'm so excited. I played that video game way too many times.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet.
Did you play that? I never played it either.
I've neglected
I have it, but
I've neglected personal affairs over that video game.
I like suck at video games, so I don't tend to play like.
I don't either, but I love that one.
But I do know the story.
I've heard it's great.
It sounds fascinating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
excited for it.
It looks great.
Yeah.
All right, kids. Should we launch into today's topic? Is there anything else you want to?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Stooge, I want you to intro this because you came up with this idea.
Why do I have to intro? You're the host.
We're co-hosts first off, but because
I'm always joining you. No, I'll do it.
You came up with the idea and you explain it better.
Well, I thought, I'm a huge movie guy. Waffles is also a huge movie guy, but he's not really a soundtracks and score guy per se. No. He enjoys them, but it's not like something he is actively engaged in. I would say, I don't know, that's the best terminology. Whereas Ray is a big movie guy, bigger than probably Waffles and I are. Yeah. And he's also very much into soundtracks and scores. And I think he's the only person I know that has a soundtrack collection that trumps mine. And I have a pretty big soundtrack collection. So when Ray, when we were thinking of guests to have, and we decided we were going to have Ray come on the show, I was like, we've got to do something with soundtracks and scores. Yeah. That's the only thing we can do. So that's why today's topic, we're actually going to talk about composers, film composers who make the score or the music for movies, not necessarily soundtracks, where you collect different songs and put them to a movie. We're talking about like original scores. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to come up with, or we're going to share our own Mount Rushmore of what we think film composers should be on the Mount Rushmore of movie film composers. And we'll see if there's any overlap. We'll see if we can't come up with like an overall, official Deadwax Mount Rushmore of film composers. So exactly. I'm really excited for this. It took me I don't know about you guys, but when I started making my list, I was able to name off 3 real quick. Like, these 3 are for sure on there. Then when it comes to the last one, it's like, oh man, this person should be on there, but this person should also be on there. But am I being biased on this one? Okay, this guy should also be on there too. Like, when it comes to the last one, the last one was really hard for me to decide on. I actually didn't decide till today, and I'll tell you my thinking into why I picked what I picked when we dive into it. But I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to chime in on, say, either of you, before we start diving into our picks.
I think you explained it well.
Yeah, no, I think you explained. I feel for me the hardest part was like try to be objective. Like there's some composers that I love, but I know that they don't have the weight that others have. There's some that I wanted to include, but I'm like, there's no way outside of like 3 people they know who this composer is.
Yeah.
So having to be objective to a composer that's like, okay, this is an obvious one versus one that I just want because I'm biased.
Yeah.
No, and that's the problem I ran into as well. It's like I was trying to pick what I thought deserved to be on the Mount Rushmore, like, you know, the official who are the best. But then I just got to a point where I'm like, forget it. I'm just gonna pick what I want on there. So that's why they're coming up to. Like, I'm just like, you know what, forget it, because I'm not experienced and knowledgeable enough to say what belongs on the Mount Rushmore. So it's like, you know, just go with what I like. And yeah, I also figured doing that it would be more appealing to the masses, like more, you know, common, well-known composers, because just like Ray was saying, there's some really fantastic people out there who have had some really influential work that I'm just like, I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I personally went with my Mount Rushmore. So
yeah, there you go.
These may not be the best ones, but whatever. They're my favorite ones.
All right. So how did you want to do this, Waffles? Were you going to do like one at a time, go through, or should we
Great question. Let's do one at a time. That'll probably keep it even. And like with talking terms, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Did you want me to go
just
first?
do one by one?
Yeah, that works. No, that works.
Okay. Stooge, you volunteered first, so why don't you hit us off?
I'll go first. And
first Mount Rushmore head. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so first thing I got to do before I actually start giving you my first Mount Rushmore person, because I think we're all going to have this gentleman on there. So first thing I want to do real quick, I just want to let you know some of the people who didn't make the Mount Rushmore, just so you know how hard this was.
Okay.
So some honorable mentions. I got Mark Mothersbaugh. It's like he did 21 Jump Street. He's done Lego movies. He did Thor Ragnarok. Guess what? Also, what other film he's doing that comes, I think, next month that we're all going to go see together in theaters?
Cocaine Bear?
He does Cocaine Bear.
That's going to be so perfect.
He used to work with Wes Anderson a lot.
Yeah,
he used to work with Wes Anderson a lot. So
that's rad.
Yeah, Mark, he does some great stuff. So he was one I thought of. Once again, that would have been totally biased. Not that he doesn't have a great body of work. I don't know if he's just one of the more renowned. Anyways,
he's got a great body. Yeah.
Jerry Goldsmith was one I considered. The Mummy, Rudy, Mulan. He's done a lot of good stuff. This one's going to be a shocker because he might be on your guys' list, and he's on a lot of people's lists. I got people who chimed in who they would think they would add, and that's Danny Elfman. Did not make the cut on my list, but he could have. He easily could have. Sure. And I don't think I need to name off too much. Simpsons, Batman, amongst a lot of other things. One of which Ray showed up. Yeah, the Batman right there, and then also Edward Scissorhands. Just these other 3, Howard Shore, who did Lord of the Rings, Silence of the Lambs, Departed, did some great stuff. And then these are the 2 who I'm not super familiar with, but seem to have some really iconic scores. And that's, and I'm going to butcher this, correct me if I mess it up, Ray. Ennio Morricone. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think it's
Morricone. There you go.
But English is my second language, so that's my excuse.
Oh, this is Italian though, so I don't know. Good, you know, he did all those spaghetti westerns, Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, The Untouchables. So you know that. That's
the Ecstasy of Gold. He did The Thing.
He did.
The Thing. He did it.
Love that movie. Dang.
And then the last one I'm just going to shout out before I go into my first one, Bernard Herrmann, who did Taxi Driver, Vertigo, Psycho, all very iconic, scores and everything. So first one I'm going to do, because I think he's on all of our lists, so I think it'll be easy to knock this person out, is John Williams. I don't know how you can have a Mount Rushmore without John Williams on there. Once again, I'm not an expert at this stuff, but, just to name off a few things, Star Wars to begin with, he saved Star Wars. The first one, at least, when that came out. Then you got Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Jaws, Saving Private Ryan, Indiana Jones, E.T., Schindler's List, Superman. The list just goes on and on. The dude is 90 years old and still cranking out freaking masterpieces. So, John Williams, I think, without a doubt. Like the rest of mine, I can see an argument for them being on there or not. John Williams, I think, there's no doubt that he belongs on the Mount Rushmore. So
Nice.
that's my first one. So I'll turn it over to you, Ray.
So obviously John Williams. I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, John Williams single-handedly has the sounds of our childhoods collectively. Like I defy anybody, even if they don't know the name John Williams, they have heard one of his themes. They have heard one of the stuff he's composed. Fun story about John Williams. So when he composed the theme for Jaws, Steven Spielberg didn't like it. Steven Spielberg told him, this is too simple. This is too it's overly simplified. It's not. You need to make it more like grander, like bigger. And he was like, nope, trust me, this is going to work. And John Williams fought in tooth and nail with Steven Spielberg, and John Williams stood his ground. And Steven Spielberg says
the best decision.
The best decision ever made.
Seriously.
So I can't argue with John Williams. I'll just piggyback off of John Williams just to keep the suspense going a little bit. But
nice.
But some of the ones that didn't make my cut, you got a few of mine there. But another one that I would add is one that I really like that's not very well known is Cliff Martinez, who did the score for Drive.
Oh, okay.
He's done a bunch of really cool stuff, but Drive is like his most famous one that he's done. Only God Forgives, The Neon Demon. He's done a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, okay.
He does more of the synthy, type of thing. Jerry Goldsmith is another one that almost made the cut as well for me, just because he did Gremlins, man. Like, I still have to.
Gremlins
and Poltergeist. I have to give him a shout out. James Newton Howard is another one that I left out of my list just because he is amazing and I love everything that he's done. He did The Village, which is arguably one of my favorite scores, but outside of The Village and Nightcrawler, I'm not in 1000% familiar. I know he collaborated on The Dark Knight with Hans Zimmer, but Benjamin Wallfish is another one that I really like that didn't make the cut. He did It. Another one that didn't make the cut for me was Vangelis, who did the score for Blade Runner, the original one.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And the last general, just another one that I left out that didn't make the cut, even though I adore his work, but he just wasn't alive for very long to do a lot of things, was Johan Johansson, who did the score for Arrival, Mandy, Sicario.
Oh, okay.
He just wasn't he was only alive. He died in his 40s, so he didn't score.
That's terrible. I didn't know that.
He didn't score a ton. So if he would have kept going, he would have easily become one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I would agree with Stu here. John Williams would definitely be on mine as well.
Nice.
And Sicario, dude, that was like a total sleeper film for me. I went into that thinking, okay, we'll see this movie, and it was just like, whoa,
Sicario's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, Sicario's wild.
Part 2 is really good too. If you haven't seen it,
I actually have not seen part 2. I've only seen the
first one. That's pretty good. It's not as good, but it's still pretty good.
Interesting. So I knew you guys were both going to pick John Williams, so I did not include him on mine. Because I just didn't want to make it an echo chamber. So my first one is Randy Newman, who did the music to Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Bugs Life. A lot of other great children's movies he did. James and the Giant Peach. He also did Princess and the Frog, which is, I think, my favorite Disney movie. My favorite music from a Disney movie. I had a stroke mid-sentence. You both just sat there. Anyway.
You got a tick?
Exactly. Oh, that was rough.
I'm so jealous of you guys drinking. I should have brought a drink with me.
I can spit into your mouth if you would like.
Do it.
Sick. Through the phone. Anyway, Randy Newman, his music is so interesting for each movie he does. And same thing, it's so perfect for children, and it's all good time and happy. And so Randy Newman's my first one.
You know what I would love to see is Randy Newman do the score for a Scorsese film.
Can you or Quentin Tarantino?
I'm gonna slit your throat, or just and have it just be super vulgar and I don't know. I think that would be great to hear Randy Newman just
slit your throat.
Are you a fucking cop? Oh he's not a cop. I'm not. Are you a cop?
I love this idea. Okay, sick. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Especially with the way he sings, it'd be perfect.
Right? Yeah. He tries to do a Boston accent.
Exactly. All right, Steve, let's go to your number 2.
All right, my number 2. One more. I forgot one of my shout outs was Tyler Bates, who did
Ooh,
300, John Wick, Halloween. He's got a lot of good stuff too. So
Nice.
last one more quick shout out, and then I'll go to my number 2, who is Hans Zimmer. He's been going a lot longer than I thought he was. Like, Hans Zimmer didn't come onto my radar until like The Dark Knight. Just so you know how into movies I am, and I fell in love with that score because I felt like the Joker's theme, just that single note being held and then getting progressively more intense was really like is to me just as equal a part of that role as Heath Ledger's amazing performance. So on top of that, he's done Interstellar with the freaking organs. He made an organ soundtrack our score that sounds really cool and is really amazing. But dude, Hans Zimmer's involved with The Lion King, both the remake and the original.
Oh, interesting.
He did The Rock, Gladiator, Pearl Harbor, all the Nolan Batmans. He did Pirate of the Caribbean, Inception, some Transformers, and Dune from last year or the year before that, whenever that one came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's just some of the major headline. He's done so much amazing work, and he has such a unique style, in my opinion. So
he's got 2 Oscars to his name.
Yeah, so he's a really good composer, in my opinion. So that's why I would add him to my Mount Rushmore with John Williams.
Zimmer.
John and Hans.
John Zimmer.
Also, Mr. Hans Zimmer started out he was in the music video for Video Kill the Radio Star.
Really?
Ugh.
Yeah, he's the keyboardist for it.
Oh, nice.
That is fascinating. Yeah. He's in the first music video. That's insane.
So it's awesome. Yeah, Hans Zimmer. I'm gonna pick a different one, but I just want to piggyback with that. Yeah, I love Hans Zimmer. He actually collaborated in the score for Blade Runner 2049 as well, which I adore that score so much. It's one of my all-time favorite movies as well. So yeah, no, I can definitely say a lot about Hans Zimmer as well, but you kind of beat me to it.
That's why Stooge went first.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to beat everyone.
He knows what he's doing.
Jerk. Well,
right.
I'm gonna pick this one before somebody steals them.
Okay.
So as many of you know, I am a big horror guy. I love horror movies.
You're a big horror? Is that what
yes,
you said?
that's true.
It's true.
Mostly for watching Scrooge, but
100%. You get the friends and family discount.
So I cannot, in good conscience, have a Mount Rushmore without the great and the wonderful John Carpenter.
Absolutely.
I adore John Carpenter. Everything you can think of, like 80s horror nostalgia. Even till now, he's still doing it. I mean, he's still cranking out those like Halloween remakes. Regardless of how you feel about the movies themselves, the scores are fantastic. Yeah. John Carpenter is one of those that I will check out the score regardless of the movie. So like I own the score for the Firestarter remake, which I heard wasn't great, but I love the music. I love John Carpenter. I love his solo stuff. He has a lot of solo stuff that he does, that he works with his son. He's done, and he's notorious for actually like scoring his own movies. Yes. Which is also a pretty impressive feat that he would score, and he scored like Halloween, Prince of Darkness. I can go for days. You have the new Halloweens, the Firestarters. Yeah. John Carpenter has done it all. Anything that's horror related. I mean, I have right up there. They Live.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie. So
great movie.
I love John Carpenter and everything that man does, and for that reason, he would be on my Mount Rushmore.
Nice.
So you got two Johns.
Yeah, two Johns and a Hans.
John.
Johnny Be Good.
On Netflix, there's that show, The Movies That Made Us. And there's an episode about Halloween, and they do a great in-depth analysis of John's like, I'm going to direct this, and I'm going to do the music, and I hope everyone's cool with that. Like,
also, I love that John Carpenter, he's just like this old man in a turtleneck. And
he really is.
He just doesn't take himself seriously at all, and I love it.
He hates almost everything, but whatever.
He's a job killer.
He's a job.
I'm going to do all these jobs.
John's a job killer. My number 2, I don't think either of you.
Was it big?
It was pretty big. I've had several today.
Yeah.
Which no shock, right? My number 2 for this one.
Gotta take that pill.
The pill makes it worse. Don't worry. Anyway, my number 2 for the Mount Rushmore is Joe Hisaishi, who does all the music to the Studio Ghibli movies.
Oh.
So fun fact, my brother, his name's Dave, he is really into composers. My brother is very into classical music and composers. And so I needed his help for this because I'm not super into it. And he compared Joe Hisaishi to like the John Williams of anime movies because he's done almost every Studio Ghibli movie except for like one. So he's done My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, Ponyo,
The house
Moving
one.
Castle. Yeah. Like he's done all of those, and those all have beautiful music to them that really like. The thing I love about his style is that you think about those movies, if you've seen them, there is such an importance to the music. The music really sets the vibe constantly. In anime, the animation is beautiful, but they need music to convey emotion because it's really hard to tell emotion in anime faces. And so he does a beautiful job of creating those. And those in the world of vinyl collecting, Studio Ghibli like scores and soundtracks are
they're
like
expensive.
worth their weight in gold.
They're stupid expensive.
Crazy expensive, and they resell like nothing. So anyway, I really love Joe Hisaishi. When I think of certain movies he's done, especially Spirited Away, it really like gives me like the tingles. Like his music is tingly. Is that a word?
Yeah,
his music's tingly.
Gives you the tingles.
Gives me the tingles, the neurodivergent tickles. Exactly. So
yeah, you get the tingles with your number 2. We get it.
Exactly. So we've got John, Hans, and Joe.
You got Randy and Joe. Sounds like a
Randy and Joe. We're starting like the Allman Brothers again.
Some bluegrass band that has a banjo.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Randy and Joe.
Randy and Joe. You
dude,
can slit my throat or whatever you're saying.
So, there's I've never been into anime, and my kids are into it, and so I've been taking them to movies to see some of these Ghiblis and whatnot. And some of the non-Ghiblis, man, Ghiblis are a little too far out for me as far as
they can be weird.
The story goes.
They can be weird, yeah.
We went and saw that one this year. I think it might have been Spirited Away. Is it the little girl who like gets like her parents turn into pigs?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
I love that movie.
It's such a weird.
It's
movie.
Weird. It's bizarre.
And I've seen Howl's Castle too. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh yeah, beautiful though.
So, anyways, yeah. But I'm not here to judge them. I'm just saying that from my
standpoint, was limited.
It did sound pretty judgy, and I'm sure it came across that way. But I'm letting you know, if you like that stuff, that's totally fine. I'm not hating on it.
Before we continue, though, I gotta ask. Since you brought up how weird those movies are, how did Turbo Kid go?
Turbo Kid was
loved it.
Freaking good. Oh my gosh.
But talk about weird.
Oh, very bizarre. It was fantastic though. Like, as this is no joke, we were getting towards the end, and Stu's like, all right, grand finale. And I said, there better be 3 more hours of this or I'm gonna flip this table. Like, it was so good. If anybody listening wants to watch a great freaking weird movie, Turbo Kid, highly recommend.
It's got a great soundtrack.
And I watched it because of these two.
Lamatos did a great soundtrack.
Yep, they did a great soundtrack for that. So,
Stooge, number 3 for the Mount
Rushmore. My number 3 is going to be the dearly departed James Horner. So James Horner has done films. I'll just let you know so you're familiar. He's done Apollo 13, Titanic, Avatar, Braveheart, Glory, Troy, some Star Treks, The Land Before Time, Jumanji, A Beautiful Mind, and that's just
Holy cow.
Some of the ones I wrote down here. So he's done a lot of good stuff. My favorite score of all time, the Apollo 13 soundtrack, because I feel like that music, it gets me super emotional, and sometimes it'll make water come out of my eyes. I don't know why that happens, but that happens.
Your eyes just start peeing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's just an incredible composer. When I was looking up more about him, I found out there's actually some controversy with him. Some people have accused him of maybe being too similar to some other stuff, that other people have composed. So anyway, that's just what Wikipedia said. But James Horner, like I said, he's on mine because Apollo 13, no joke, is my favorite score of all time. So I would have to definitely, and along with the rest of his body of work, he's just a really great composer. So he would be on my Mount Rushmore for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
He also, I know a lot of people have opinions about this, but the score for Titanic, both of the ones he did, aside from the Celine Dion song, they're beautiful. Mm-hmm. And fun fact, Titanic was one of the first scores I actually legitimately purchased and got into. So I love James Horner.
Yep.
That's way cool.
And Apollo 13 still not on vinyl. What the hell's the deal?
Yeah, seriously.
What the hell?
ridiculous.
Call me up. I got ideas.
They
So.
keep pressing the stupid Peanuts Christmas record, but they have yet to make Apollo 13.
Oh my gosh. They pressed that into oblivion.
Seriously. Dumb.
I feel bad for whoever variant collects the Christmas Peanuts score.
His name's Bryce Holman on Instagram. He's nuts.
Oh, there is.
Bryce tried variant collecting it. It's ridiculous because they make like 200 of them
every year.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, that is my third one.
Nice. Ray, you
James,
got number 3.
Hans, and John.
James.
Building some apostles
yours
there.
sounds like
Well, so I'm going to stick with boring white people. With boring white people, Dan, because number 3 on mine, he is not the most famous. This is my hipster pick. No, I'm sure you'll have probably heard of him. His name is Clint Mansell.
Clint Mansell.
I don't know Clint Mansell.
I don't know who it is either.
Clint Mansell is my hipster pick because most people are like, what? Who?
Yeah.
Clint
like A24 stuff?
No, so Clint Mansell has worked a lot with Darren Aronofsky. So he's done. I'll read you a few.
Oh.
He's done Requiem for a Dream. He did what's that one called? The Fountain, Smoking Aces, The Wrestler. I mean, he also did Black Swan.
Oh.
His music's really unsettling.
Yeah, he did. Ghost in the Shell, which is not even available. Like digitally to stream.
Yeah.
And he's done a bunch of great stuff. He does more weird movies for sure, more weird stuff. But I love Clint Mansell. I feel like just that the main theme of Requiem for a Dream has been beaten to death everywhere. And but I do love Clint Mansell a lot. I feel like he doesn't get the love that he should get, especially with films like, like with Black Swan, he took the actual themes of Swan Lake and incorporated it into a score.
Yeah.
On The Fountain, he collaborated with Mogwai, which is a post-rock band that I love. So he's done all sorts of crazy stuff that not a lot of composers are doing. I feel like there's a few composers that are doing weird stuff, and he's one of them, but he's not getting the credit he deserves for it. He did the score for a movie called Moon, if you guys are familiar with that one. You might like it, Stooges.
I haven't seen it. I know it's a psychological
space thriller.
Yeah. Who's the actor? He's a good actor, too. He's pretty recently...
Sam Rockwell.
There you go, Rockwell.
Oh, I love Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, it's a great movie. He composed the score, which is amazing. So,
I haven't seen it yet.
Clint Mansell, I know he's not like the most famous pick, but everything that I have some Clint Mansell stuff in my collection that I haven't even seen the movie, but I just love the music. So Clint Mansell would be my third pick.
Yeah, man, he makes some unsettling music. Then if he did Requiem for a Dream and Black Swan,
he does.
He's a genius at making you uncomfy with violin. For my number 3. I went with a guy especially from the 80s and 90s who made a lot of great movies. Alan Silvestri.
Yeah.
He did Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, What Lies Beneath. So he did a lot of movies that and his IMDb page was insane. It just was hit after hit because he never stopped.
He did the Avengers too.
He did Endgame. Yeah, he did a lot of the Avengers, and one of my favorites he did was Fern Gully, which is the reason I am the way I am. I freaking love Fern Gully. And he was the composer for that one. So I'm a little bit biased. What can I say? Am I a mild environmental activist because of that movie? Maybe. I don't really know. But anyway, so when I was looking through his body of work, I love that phrase, body of work. You mentioned that earlier. It's been playing in my head. It was so cool to be like, oh my gosh, this man is nostalgia embodied. Because I for stuff like What Lies Beneath, I probably couldn't tell you right now what the music exactly sounds like. But the second I hear the music of What Lies Beneath, I go, oh my gosh, I love that. So lots of great things from Alan Silvestri. Also, what a name. Oh,
you might say that he takes you back in time.
Oh my gosh, exactly. We have to go back.
Silvestri on it.
A little Silvestri on it. He does the salt bay thing. The salt goes off his,
He just brings notes.
Just notes falling. Exactly. Little nostalgia notes.
Oh, this movie. It needs a little Silvestri.
So stupid. Oh gosh. Anyway, he's my number 3.
Awesome.
Alan
A
Silvestri.
great pick.
So this is now our number 4.
Yeah, number 4. We haven't had hardly any overlap, so
I know
that's pretty
what
incredible.
a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting more
Our
overlap.
weekly playlist is going to be nuts.
Although to be fair, like I have replaced some in real time that you guys mentioned.
But I've been impressed because I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
You ruined it. You ruined the surprise.
Number 4 is John Williams.
All right. My fourth and final one. This is the one where it's like, I can see this guy being replaced by some of the other ones. It just depends on the day.
Yeah.
But he is a great composer in his own right, and that is Michael Giacchino.
Ooh.
So his body of work includes The Incredibles, The Family Stone, believe it or not, my least favorite movie of all time. Ratatouille. He's on Up. Up, if you need to cry. The music from Up will make
beautiful.
you cry. Cars 2. I'm going through his list right here. He's done some of those newer Mission Impossible movies.
Mhm.
Planet of the Apes. He's also Inside Out, Zootopia, Coco, all those Pixar ones, and he did a Star Wars. He did the first one to do a Star Wars movie that wasn't John Williams when he did the Rogue One, and he had the hardest job ever because Rogue One was the first Star Wars film not to have the crawl intro, and so what do you do? How do you start that? That's
Seriously.
how every up until that point. That's how every Star Wars thing has started. Is we get the crawl, and they said, nah, it's not going to get that, bro. You got to figure it out.
Nah.
And so I think he did a great job because this could be my interpretation of it, but I don't know if you remember how Rogue One starts, but it's just a really all of a sudden jerking I think he really played into the this is uncomfortable and weird with that sound,
Right.
It like jerks you right into the movie, and it's like, well, all right, that wasn't very comfortable, but it is. I don't know what else you're supposed to do with it, but anyway, so Michael Giacchino, I think belongs on. I think he's got some good stuff. He's a younger guy. But he's done a lot of great stuff already, and I think it was his. I was looking at his Wikipedia as well. I think he's the one that wrote do you know the fanfare for the Marvel movies? That thing that plays.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wrote that.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah. So
super big deal.
Well, and Michael Giacchino has been really busy this year. I guess last year he did he's done the Jurassic Worlds. He did the
Spider-Man.
He did the freaking Batman.
Yes,
That's
he
right.
did.
And he also composed and directed Werewolf by Night.
Well, there you go. I don't know Werewolf by Night, but
neither do I.
Yeah,
it's great. It's on Disney
I mean,
Plus.
when else can you be a werewolf? I thought that was like a prerequisite.
Well, take it up with Michael Feige.
It's like cook in the kitchen. What? Where else is the cook going to be?
Yeah, was the cook in the alleyway? Yeah.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer.
Werewolf at midday. That's a good one, though. I love that. Yeah, Teen Wolf.
All right, so that's my fourth one. I'll turn it over to you, Ray.
Ray, number 4.
Well, since I don't want to get repetitive, and you already took Hans Zimmer and Michael Giacchino, who are both on my list.
Dang.
The minds.
That's why he went first.
The minds.
I know I could pick them, but I want to give variety, especially because I want to make your life a living hell putting together your playlist. I do want to give a shout out real quick to just like a few more. One of them is Akira Ikefube, who did the scores for pretty much every Godzilla movie known to man.
Oh, and you love Godzilla.
I do love Godzilla. Fun fact, the way he actually composed the roar of Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
By using some dried up tree sap on a cello and playing it.
Weird.
There you go.
And then he slowed it down. So the note is one note of him like with the cello over this tree sap, and he slowed it down to make that Godzilla growl.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so just a little fun fact. But if I were to pick a number 4, he actually ended up on your short list, Stooge, and that is Howard Shore. And the reason why I would put Howard Shore, not a lot of people know him from Lord of the Rings, and I'll get to that in a second, but he also has worked with David Cronenberg a lot, doing a lot of horror movies, like Videodrome, Scanners, The Brood. He did this recent Crimes of the Future movie with David Cronenberg. So he's done a lot of horror stuff that a lot of people just don't realize, but which is really interesting because Peter Jackson did a lot of horror stuff prior to Lord of the Rings. So then combining both of these, to create the Lord of the Rings movies were incredible. But
That's right.
some of the stuff that Howard Shore did on Lord of the Rings was incredible. Like some of the choral arrangements of Lord of the Rings are actually being sung on black speech, which is the speech
What's
that
that?
the black speech is what basically what Sauron speaks in.
Oh,
Oh.
gotcha.
So he actually got the choral arrangements to be them singing in black speech. Some arrangements are done in Elvish, so they're singing in Elvish. So like he actually took these aspects of Middle Earth and used them and incorporated them in his arrangements.
That's cool.
And then for some of the arrangements, he would take like the arrangements of the hobbits and the arrangements of the elves and combine them with the Mordor themes. So it was like a battle scene. So he was doing all these combinations using actual inspiration from Middle Earth and the languages that Tolkien came up with in Middle Earth to come up with these ridiculous scores.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, there's a whole like video essay about like everything he did on the Lord of the Rings project, and I can't help but respect a composer that's willing to do crazy stuff like that.
Seriously.
And he's won multiple awards because of it, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
So Howard Shore would be my number 4.
Dang.
Nice.
Love it. Howard Stern is number 4. That's crazy. Verlo, that's an awesome answer. I didn't know that about the depth of that Lord of the Rings answer was crazy. I didn't know any of that. That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my number 4, I want you both to just prepare to now to say, Chris, that's not an answer. That's so stupid. That man has like a few movies under his belt. But so prepare. Think of that now. Get ready to say it when I'm done.
Okay.
But because I just went with like my Mount Rushmore. So this guy's not very famous hardly at all. However, when I think of movie scores, like Stu's mentioned before, I'm not really into scores. But when I think of ones I like, this is my number 1. So that's why he's on my Mount Rushmore, because he is the composer that made the score I like. He is an electronic artist named Disaster Piece.
Ooh, I love Disaster Piece.
And he did the music
Waffles,
to It Follows.
It Follows is amazing.
So It Follows is one of my favorite horror movies. And what was really cool about It Follows that really got me into it is the music is like haunting in an electronic way. So that he uses a lot of like deep bass and synthesizers to set the mood in like the spookiest way ever. Because a lot of times the composers, you think immediately there's an orchestra, there's a quartet, there's always a violin and a cello. But what I loved about him is that he doesn't do that. It's interesting, it's unique, and it's wild. And since because of his work, and before he did It Follows, he did video game soundtracks, which I think we could have a whole nother episode about. There's a whole world of video game soundtracks and scores we could get into. But Disaster Piece comes from the video game world, and after he did It Follows, he has since done the music to Marcel the Shell with Shoes On,
cool.
and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So he's got 2 huge movies that just came out.
Well, he did Under the Silver Lake as well.
Yes, he did.
They're huge.
They're huge.
Huge.
So I fully recognize he does not have any near the prowess of the people we've talked about. But like I think his stuff is really interesting, and it's a fun little spot for number 4. Fun little Disaster Piece spot for number 4.
I do love Disaster Piece though. I do love Disaster Piece, so that's a great.
That's really cool.
I actually
Thank
love
you.
Disaster Piece.
Great song by Slipknot too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is my number 4.
All right, so there's our 4.
You have our Mount Mushmores.
Around much.
We have our Mount Rushmores.
Oh, do you want to hear who some of our followers suggested?
Yes, please. That sounds awesome.
Yes.
So we got here from Pour Over Tape and Wax. We've got Danny Elfman.
Nice.
Good choice.
Fangirl Felicia said John Williams, like 100.
Heck yeah.
Jerry, our good friend Jerry, said John Williams, Ennio Morricone. How do you say it? Danny Elfman and Johnny Greenwood.
Ooh,
Johnny Greenwood.
I don't know
Yeah,
Johnny Greenwood.
Johnny Greenwood actually plays for Radiohead,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
and he composed.
That's
he
a
did.
Jerry answer for sure.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he did the remake for Suspiria. You Were Never Really Here. He's done a bunch of really cool stuff.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
We got Nightwalker 22.
Ooh, Travis.
Travis.
Hans the Damn Zimmerman and Danny Effin Elfman are
There you
his.
go.
Nikki No Good said John Williams, Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, Michael Giacchino. Basically
Damn.
my list almost.
Yeah, seriously.
Ryan, Our good buddy Ryan,
Oh,
Rymo Vinyl, says John Williams, Howard Shore, Hans Zimmer, and Michael Giacchino. Danny says, Mermaid and Mom Jeans, says Danny Elfman and John Williams. Those seem to be like the reoccurring. Dr. Hensjog, that's an interesting name, said Danny Elfman. Steve Crippens says John Williams, Howard Shore, Hans Zimmer, James Horner. Dutch Vinyl says Hans Zimmer. What's her name again? Fifi says Hans Zimmer, she said Clint Mansell. Is that what you said?
Oh, nice.
Clint Mansell.
And Boz Luhrmann. I don't know if you're familiar with Boz Luhrmann. I'm not.
Boz.
I think so. I don't know. Continue.
Mark Volker Lupa said Danny Elfman. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing all these right too. I could be butchering them. Dennis, Utah Vinyl, etc. said John Williams, Danny Elfman. And then Lieutenant Dan 519. Yeah, Dan said John Williams, Danny Elfman, Hans Zimmer, and yours, Waffles, Randy Newman.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
You got a friend in him.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. Good work.
So those were some of the responses we got. For that question. So,
I love it. That was great.
Yeah, lots of
Good work,
input.
guys.
So appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. I say we launch into some trivia.
All right, let's do it.
I say we freaking do it, brother.
So actually, here we're gonna do it's like a two-piecer, but it should go by pretty quick. Well, I guess I should say a two-piecer. So before we started the show, I messaged Waffles and I asked Waffles, "Hey, what are your favorite movies?" And Waffles let me know what they were, and so I figured I would go through this real quick. We'll see if I don't even think you'll know these, Ray, but
I've never seen the faculty, so
we'll go through this list real quick, and we'll see if you can name any of the composers from Waffles' favorite movies real quick.
That's brutal. I don't even know any of them.
I can name one.
Yeah, I don't know any of them. That's brutal. Okay.
And we'll start with that one. We'll go from 10 to 1. He said that these aren't in order except for the very first one, which is the faculty. But Chamber of Secrets. That's the easy one.
That's the easy one? See, I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, so that's a problem.
We've said his name.
Yeah. His name's been mentioned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is it John Williams?
It is John Williams. There you go.
Okay, good work.
And you can just let me know if you know it or not. We're going to rapid fire through these ones. Wedding Singer. Teddy Castellucci.
Jackass. No way I was going to pick it.
Jackass.
Jackass as a composer.
It's Steve-O. Steve-O put a trumpet to his butthole and then just started playing. That wouldn't shock me at all.
It is Steve-O and trumpet. Very good.
Oh my gosh.
Sam Spiegel. Better Off Dead.
Oh, I love this movie, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the composer.
Rupert Hine.
Oh.
I think him and this next one are both like guys who were like in bands and then kind of helped with a few projects like that one. Rock and Roll
Better
High
Off
School.
Dead is a great movie, by the way.
Rock and Roll High School.
The Ramones.
Yeah,
Stasium. No, right. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh. I don't know who composed Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one.
Charles Bernstein.
Oh.
Yeah, I suck with these like 80s.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. That's like I made this list.
I'm sorry.
We're not gonna do this for trivia. All right, Jennifer's Body.
Man, whoever did it's a genius.
I thought that was a soundtrack.
They have a soundtrack, but there's also music that is scored. Theodore Shapiro and Stephen Barton.
Good too.
Mean Girls. I'll just go through this. Mean Girls is Rolf Kent, and then Faculty is Marco Beltrami.
Beltrami. Oh, now I need to check it. I love Marco Beltrami.
There you go.
It's just the best movie ever made, honestly. All
right, here's the real trivia. Get your papers out.
Okay.
We're gonna keep score. We've got 20 questions. No, do you have paper or pen? I'll just have Ray answer. You can write yours down.
I can write stuff down.
Yeah. Or we can just go back and forth. Anyways,
whatever's easier for you. You're the one.
Okay, yeah, this is what we'll do then. Like the first one, you'll get the odds, Ray, and you'll get the evens. Okay? So I'm just getting the first one I'm going to ask is just for Ray. Okay. The second one I ask is just for you. Third goes to Ray, fourth to you, back and forth. Okay? So here we go.
Score.
I have 20 movies here. Each of them were either scored by John Williams or Danny Elfman. You have to tell me who scored which one.
Good.
So good.
Yeah.
So I figured you had a 50-50 chance. Yeah. And a lot of these are pretty, more well-known movies. So here we go. First one's going to you, okay, Ray? So don't say anything, Waffles, or you'll get minus a point. All right, here we go. Home Alone.
John Williams.
Correct. Give him a point, Waffles. All right. Here we go, Waffles. This one's for you. Memoirs of a Geisha.
Danny Elfman.
That is incorrect.
Son
You
of a
missed
gun.
your first one. All right, this one's for you, Ray. Good Will Hunting.
John Williams.
That's incorrect. Whoa.
What? Danny
we're-
Elfman
we're
did
messing
it.
this
Danny
up.
Elfman.
I had no
All right.
clue he did it.
Here we go, Waffles.
Okay.
Men in Black.
That's John Williams.
Incorrect. That's also Danny Elfman.
I would have put my money on John
This
Williams.
is
in that
crazy.
one.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Hook, Ray. Hook.
That's Danny Elfman.
That is not Danny Elfman. That's incorrect.
Oh my
That's John
Lord.
Williams.
This is crazy.
I am so ashamed.
Seriously.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
The Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes.
Danny Elfman for sure.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
a point for
Because Tim
Waffles.
Burton directed it.
So how do you mother for me?
So how do you mother? All right, here we go. This one's for you, Ray. JFK.
John Williams.
There you go. Give him a point.
Nice.
All right, we're starting to hone in on it. All right, here you go, Waffles. This one's for you.
Okay.
Amistad.
John Williams.
There you go. Get another
Hey.
point for you. All right, here we go. Ray. Silver Linings Playbook.
Was that Danny Elfman?
Did you say Danny Elfman?
Yes.
Yep, that is correct.
Nice.
Give him a point. All right, The Patriot.
John Williams.
Very good. Another point. All right, Ray, for you, Minority Report.
John Williams.
That is correct. Give Ray a point.
Okay.
Mission Impossible. We're talking the first one with Tom Cruise.
John Williams.
That is incorrect. That is actually Danny Elfman.
Really?
Ray, yeah, really.
Wow.
Dick Tracy. Ray, this is you, Dick Tracy.
I'm going to give it to John Williams.
That's incorrect. That's a Danny Elfman.
What?
This is wild.
You're wrinkling my brain so
Seriously.
much.
All right, Waffles. Mars Attacks.
Oh, Danny Elfman.
For sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Danny Elfman.
I was like, no.
Sure, yeah.
That's a Danny Elfman movie. All right, Ray. Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, that's John Williams.
Correct. That is John Williams.
Nice.
Give him a point.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg, man.
All right, Waffles. Lincoln.
John Williams.
Correct. Give yourself a point.
Oh.
Before we continue, you've each got 2 left. What's the score right now?
We're tied at 5.
Oh my god.
This
Yeah.
is great. All right, here we go. Ray. American Hustle.
I'm going to take I haven't even seen this one, so I'm going to take a guess at John Williams. When in doubt.
Incorrect. It is
Oh.
not John Williams. It's Danny
Ooh.
Elfman.
Dang.
All right, here you go, Waffles, for the lead.
Okay.
Justice League.
Oh, come on.
John Williams.
No, it's Danny Elfman. Oh,
Danny
my God.
Elfman.
You guys can't tie. I didn't prepare a tiebreaker, so.
Well, one of us has to get this right and one has to get it wrong.
Yeah. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
Here we go, Ray. Warhorse.
Oh, that's John Williams.
Correct. This is John Williams.
Ooh,
You go.
oh, man,
right,
the
Waffles.
Pressure.
50-50 to tie it.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
John Williams.
Oh, and your winner is Ray.
Oh, Ray. Good
It was
work,
actually
Ray.
Danny Elfman who did
That's crazy.
Doctor Strange. And then,
Sam-
yeah,
Which
That was
makes
a
sense
great trivia
because
round.
Sam Raimi did.
Sam Raimi did that movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
duh. Yeah.
And he almost exclusively worked with.
Yes.
That's why I saw Ray's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, why did you?
Ray got all these American Hustle ones he's never seen, and then he knows for sure that
There you
one.
go.
That was crazy.
So-
I love that
Yeah.
trivia. Good work, dude.
Yeah, that was great.
Thanks.
That was way fun.
Yeah. All
So
right,
what's
perfect.
my title?
So,
You guys used to give titles to the winners.
Oh yeah, what's the title?
you are our Elfman. You were an
There you
Elfman.
go.
Good work, Ray. You have finally graduated to Elfman.
Yep. Elfman
Um,
status.
To wrap up today's episode, we've got a few questions from our friends on Instagram
Nice.
that I would love to hear some opinions on. And I also let them know that Ray was our guest and that this is also related to movies. So some of these are music, some of them movies. So prepare
Awesome.
yourselves. And these are all pretty easy. We don't need like full
And
essays.
for the record, for you all the listeners, I like music too. Just so we're
He
clear.
does. Ray is a walking encyclopedia of all entertainment, I swear. All right.
I didn't
so we'll
I didn't go to college. That's why I needed to fill my brain with something.
There you go. Let's start off
There's
with
film studies in college, dude. You would love that stuff. Anyways,
let's start off with a movie question. This
All
is
right,
by our
let's do
buddy
it.
Dennis, Utah Vinyl, etc. on Instagram.
Dennis.
Favorite 1980s comedy? From everybody, of course.
Predator.
Great comedy.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite one-liners from Arnie is in Predator, by the way.
Which one is it? Dylan, you son of a bitch. Or stick around.
Stick around.
Oh, mine's I ain't got time to bleed. Or whatever.
Nice, yeah.
So many great. That has
I-
Get to the Chopper in it. How do
It
you not?
does.
I love
You
anything. I love anything with John Cusack. So
Yeah.
like, Better Off Dead, Say Anything. You know, I love those so much.
Right. My answer is Better Off Dead. I love that movie. It's so
Where are my
freaking funny.
Where are my $2?
$2. So, did you ever seen Better Off Dead?
I have not. No, I'm not a
So good.
Cusack fan. I find him
I love-
insufferable.
Man. Well, I won't sum up the movie then because you're not going to see it. We got a question from our buddy Ryan. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today.
No, you
Ryan,
can't.
Rimo Vinyl. Worst movie with the best soundtrack?
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That's a good question, Ryan. I'm going to
Worst.
start off and say Rock and Roll High School, which is one of my favorite movies. It's an atrociously bad movie. The acting is horrible. The story is so bad. But the Ramones are most of the soundtrack, and I loved it growing up. So Rock and Roll High School is my answer.
It's tough.
I don't know. That's hard to think. Yeah.
Tough one, right?
It's
I don't really see a whole lot of movies I don't like.
I haven't. Yeah, like I feel like if I don't like the movie, I didn't really pay attention to the soundtrack to begin
Oh,
with.
fair enough.
But like I guess I would throw. I haven't seen it, so I can't speak for this. But I hear Firestarter is awful.
Mhm.
But I love the John Carpenter score.
There you go. There you go. Love it.
And
Stooge, do you have an answer for that one? Or
I
We
don't.
can move
I
on
can't think
if
of an
you want
answer.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. It's gonna take me too long. I don't want to bore the people with what
The
probably
people
a
could never be
mediocre
bored with you.
response. So
people can never be bored with you. Ray, this one is specifically for you.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
But we can also answer.
How do you know? How do you know it's specifically for me?
Because it's addressed to you.
Oh boy.
And it's
This
from
is from our buddy Nick, ASAP Rakic, who was our guest last week.
you.
Nick.
He says Nick wants to hear Ray's favorite non-original score soundtrack. So just like a soundtrack.
Oh, a soundtrack.
It's not a
This-
score.
This is so tough because I feel like a soundtrack. You guys watch Parks and Rec?
Of course.
There's that great line from Ben White when he's like, "I feel like a soundtrack is the director making a playlist for you."
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I feel like for soundtracks is really hard because it has to match the movie. It can't just be a compilation of cool songs. So I'm going to name 3 because I can't narrow it down to one. High Fidelity. High Fidelity has a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Insufferable.
Oh yeah, John Cusack's in that.
John Cusack. This is like basically any soundtrack that Edgar Wright does is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Baby Driver is what you're throwing out then?
I was gonna say Baby Driver and Last Night in Soho, both of them kind of,
Nice.
and then The Queen of the Damned,
Oh, Queen of the Damned had a great soundtrack.
great soundtrack.
Stooge, I want to hear your answer for this too.
I was actually thinking Baby Driver is when
Oh,
that
really?
was like one of the first ones that came. If we're thinking like non-original soundtrack, I mean it could be. I don't know if it's fair too because like I felt like Edgar Wright. I feel like he came up with that playlist
The
per
cool-
se, and then
Yeah.
shot the movie, and then
Well,
like,
and the
made
cool
the movie.
the cool thing with Baby Driver too is that like he matches the music to what's happening on screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I almost can't. I like the version of Tequila on Baby Driver is incredible because he matches it with the gunshots.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I also really like the Underworld soundtracks, and that's because I'm an emo
Yes.
kid and metal kid.
It's got
and that was like-
Finch.
Yeah, they like if I remember correctly, they were like in my world the first movie that had like the music I listened to at the time in a
Mhm.
movie. So those were wild.
Yeah,
You know,
Hearing Warmth of the
Also-
Earth by Finch.
And Kate Beckinsale's so hot, it's ridiculous. So
Oh yeah, that's in the soundtrack for sure.
yeah, freaking is.
I was gonna say James Gunn soundtracks. I usually like his
Oh,
soundtracks as well.
They
He
are
puts
absolutely.
so
together a
much
good
fun.
soundtrack.
Yeah, fun is a great way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do just a couple more.
All right.
Nightwalker 22, our buddy Travis.
Travis.
He's always got
Travis.
great questions. What was one of your favorite finds at a record store? And that could be if it's rare, if it was a good price, anything like that.
Can it be online record store?
Sure. Why not?
I would say that Led Zeppelin Greatest Hits, like you know, the Econo Jam in Oakland, like every about 4 nights out of the week, we'll do like nightly posts of their new inventory, and you just got to comment on it sold.
Yep.
And you get it, and that one popped up, and it was at a reasonable price considering how much those go for, and I was like,
Yes.
oh, sold.
That's right.
So it was great. I was so happy to get that.
Love
For
that.
me, 2 weeks ago, I was at Graywell.
Nice.
Shout out to Graywell. And as some of you may have heard me talk about this little band called Cult of Luna. I recently really got into Cult of Luna, and their back catalog is super hard to find. Even just your standard black pressings are like, they go for hundreds of dollars. And a couple weeks ago, Cult of Luna, Salvation, I found it at Graywell for, it was like $35, which is unheard of. That one, usually I can't find it any lower than like $80. If
really?
I can find it. So
Yeah.
this was just a couple weeks ago, and I was
Nice.
so excited.
Love it.
You know, I got to shout out Graywell real quick too. So you know, where everyone's shouting him out, I got to do it. I got to jump in on this
Got to
doggy
join
file.
in. Yeah.
Last year, shoot, it might have even been over a year now. Graywell got in Confessions of a Dangerous Mind by Logic, a copy in, and those go for stupid expensive. And they had it for reasonably below what the average was on Discogs as well. So when they posted that they are having that in, I immediately messaged Dustin, is it still available? I want it. You know? And so he's like, yeah, just come and get it. So
that's
anyways,
awesome.
Yeah,
it's a great feeling, especially like with a record store, that you can find something that means so much to you. Pardon me, I'm like getting choked up. I really am not. I'm sorry. I just have like phlegm in my throat. There's just something with a record store that means a lot. Anyway, my answer for this is a different record store. It's not Graywell. Sorry, fans. And that is Diabolical Records in Salt Lake City. The first time I went there, I found an Eye for an Eye by Like Moths to Flames, which goes for a couple $100s, and they had it for like $30. And it was one of those I don't want to tell them, why are you selling it for so cheap? Because out of fear that they would like up the price, knowing that it goes for hundreds of dollars. But I was like, oh wow, $30. Can I swing that? Then I walked away being like, there's only like 300 of these in the world, and they sold out like 8 years ago. So they're very hard to find, but that one's always a golden nugget.
I just want to give one, piece of advice to Diabolical. I would go to your record store so much more. I've only been one time, but the parking is non-existent.
Oh
so sorry.
Seriously.
If anyone from Diabolical is listening, which I'm sure they're not, unless your dad started working there, Waffles.
My dad would love that place.
Parking is
Parking
no
sucks
bueno.
there.
So, and I've only been once, and then the reason I went is because you gave me a ride.
Yeah, man, it's not a great parking lot. I think that's good for today's get to know you questions. Thank you for everybody that submitted them. We got a lot of great ones. And same thing. Thank you to everybody that watches these and interacts with us. So we appreciate it. And last thank you to Ray. Ray, thank you for joining us today. This was so much fun.
It finally paid off begging you guys for years and years.
Finally.
You're lucky the check cleared, so that's all.
Your agent finally got in touch with us and made it so much easier. Ray, for ending today's episode, will you tell us more just about your podcast, where people can find you?
Stuff. Yeah, I would love to. So my buddy Nate and I have a podcast called the Film Monsters Podcast. Oh, I just saw a sticker there on yours. On your water bottle. Even though we're not called that anymore because people suck.
True.
We had to change our name after a couple of episodes because somebody's like, we're using that name, whatever. So
dumb.
So we are the Film Monsters Podcast. We just talk about movies. It's kind of a similar format as you guys, where we just kind of sit down and talk about movies, and we don't take ourselves too seriously. So you can follow us there. We publish pretty much on any platform known to humanity, I think. I don't know, every platform.
Even Grindr.
Even
Yeah.
Grinder,
LinkedIn. Yeah.
like just swipe right or left, and
Yeah, exactly.
depending on your movie taste. So yeah, so we do that. My personal handle is at Analog C, which just I post a bunch of records and I talk about music and I geek out about random stuff that aren't just movie related. So I promise you, I also listen to regular music.
We should also mention your handle is Analog C, like the ocean C, not the letter
SEA.
C, like the ocean, and not like
Like-
I'm looking at you, C, but like the ocean.
True. To
And
make
I'm like,
it
yes, in Spanish. Yeah.
yeah, Analog C.
Analog C.
Hispanic C.
It's basically it's my own little homage to the song "Digital C" by Thrice.
Nice.
For those curious, but yeah, so yeah, you can just follow us there. Like I said, we publish stuff all the time. Our podcast is not huge. We're still growing, so like follow us, give us a shout out, talk to us. We want to hear. We're mans of the people.
You know, like my wife always says, Ray, it's not the size that matters.
Oh my gosh.
But then there's a problem because we don't know what to do with it either. So it's not.
Oh gosh.
But yeah,
I can show you what to do with it.
But yes, people at the Film Monsters podcast, we would love it if we can hear from your lovely viewership and listenership.
Rad beans.
Rad beans.
Stooge, any final? You're this way. Sorry.
Yeah, I got
Any
two
final words and
musings.
thoughts?
Two musings from me today.
Okay.
One, rusticrecordsonline.com.
Yes.
Brian just had a drop on Friday, just 3 days ago. He had like 3 weeks worth of stuff that coming in that he put out. So tons of stuff. Go there, check out what he's got in stock. If you decide to buy anything, use discount code Stooge. You'll save 5%. So make sure to go check that out. First things first. Second of all, just a huge, huge thank you to everybody participating in the Deadwax Challenge this month. Turnout's been great. There's been some really great posts so far, some really creative stuff that has been coming through that's just really awesome. So thank you to everybody who's been participating in that, and we hope you're enjoying it. We're halfway through the month now.
Yeah.
So there's only like
15th, huh?
a little over 2 weeks left. So I'm excited to see what else comes out, and just want to make sure we thank you all for participating in that, and we hope you're enjoying it. So those are my two musings this week, Waffles.
They were important musings, though. Thank you.
I guess I should also say thank you to Ray. Oh, other way, for joining us as well. The third musing. These musings, man, they're just popping off.
Seriously,
Like
Stooge,
waffles.
you're gonna need to forgive me on this. Did you mention your discount code with Rustic Records?
Yes,
I did.
Okay, sorry. I thought.
But
you
discount
skipped
code
over it.
Stooge. You know.
Use it. Use it.
You know
when
what I'm
you
gonna
can.
Can I get you my? I got a new idea for a TikTok I'm gonna do this week.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just gonna go around asking my kids, "Hey, how can you save 5% at rusticrecordsonline.com?" And
Yeah.
I'm all say discount code Stooge.
And then
Just
you're
be
gonna get
stupid.
shut down. Yeah. You're gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
It's gonna get canceled. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For endangerment. No, I love that. Go for it.
Yeah, because I'm holding at gunpoint. How do you say 5%?
They don't
Tell
know
them
what's
now.
happening- They don't know what's happening behind the camera. Yeah.
Or you don't eat.
Oh my gosh.
Papa needs his records.
Thank you to everybody who has watched this episode, who follows us on social media. But if you're not already following us on social media,
What are
oh
you
my
doing?
gosh, get it together. Seriously. We are at Deadwax Show on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. With the Deadwax Challenge, we've been reposting a lot of what people have been tagging us in. It's been so cool to see, especially people interacting with each other. I think that's been a really fun part. As Stooge mentioned, I think in our last episode, later in the month, we have a collab post where you can collaborate with somebody else in the vinyl social media world to make a post. And I think if you're looking for people to collab with, go through our stories and our content, because we're tagging a lot of people that would love to collab with you. So keep that in mind for when that comes up.
And a lot of them are cool people too. So
Absolutely. And not a lot of boogers. Not a
no.
lot of boogers in this nose.
I think we should say too, I don't think we mentioned on our last episode, and it's something we've decided to do, is we've gone to a once every 2 weeks
Yes, we forgot to mention it.
format. So
Yeah.
if you're wondering, hey, what happened last week? Why was there no episode? We are doing episodes only once every 2 weeks now. I think one, because of burnout. I think every week's really hard, especially when you have full-time
tiring.
jobs and
Yeah.
families and other stuff coming up. It's nice to have a Sunday off every other week too. And two, I think having time between episodes is going to give us more time to I don't know, put more into these episodes because it kind of towards the end of the year last year. I don't know how you felt, Waffles. I felt like we were just kind of, last
You're
minute.
grasping
Okay, we got to get another
straws.
episode. Yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to plan better and have better quality content for all the listeners out there.
Well, as a listener, I was weeping last Monday,
Yeah, we can actually hear.
pulling my hair, like,
Yeah.
where's my episode? How am I supposed to get to work now?
Yeah,
We're like dealers. We're gonna get you guys. We got you guys hooked.
and now we're making
Now,
you wait.
yeah.
No, like Stooge said, for us, we decided to go way more over quality over quantity, and we do think that, and we're going to see how this goes, just for a while. So,
Yeah.
let y'all know. But yeah, so you have this new episode, and we'll have one in 2 weeks. You are now caught up with the calendar. Any last minute thoughts, everybody, before we say goodbye to our friends and family? Well, if there's no other thoughts, I have one last bit of advice for everybody. Please, would you all try to get out of the groove and get into the Deadwax? Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much.